Alright, so I know I'm 3 years late to the party, but I finally sat down and watched Squid Game Season 1, and let me just say I'm pleasantly surprised and thought it was great, but there are some hard truths we need to discuss. But I'll save those for the end of this video. Now, I believe I have a unique perspective of going into this TV show with an absolutely blank slate, not knowing much at all. 3 years ago, for whatever reason, I missed the initial hype train, but then I ended up deciding to not watch at all so that one day I could utilize the content for our podcast. The only thing I really knew about this show was that people who were down on their luck were being chosen to play life or death games with a huge money reward for the winner. I saw clips of red light, green light, and of course clips of players 456 and number 1. I knew absolutely nothing else. I had no idea what the other games were, and I had no expectations for the plot other than just, hey, here are these crazy games for you guys to watch. I didn't know how many episodes there were and how long each episode was. Honestly, I was expecting about 6 episodes, with each episode being about 30 minutes. So when I saw most of the episodes were an hour, I was pleasantly surprised. First of all, let's talk about the sheer intensity of this show. I thought all the games were a slam dunk. Each game just kept getting better or worse, depending on how you want to look at it. Every single game was a gut punch. The stakes, the betrayals, the heartbreak, all top notch. But something that really surprised me is that it was not just about the games. I actually expected the games to be the only focal point and sole craziness of the show, but I was definitely wrong. What really got me in the season were the characters. They're not just the players in these games. They're people with real stories and real heartbreak. I found myself torn between rooting for them and bracing for their inevitable doom. And don't even get me started on Ali. That one hurt really badly. I also really enjoyed the mystery that I thought would probably be a storyline of the show, but not a major focus. Who's behind the games? Why are they doing this? This show gives you just enough to keep you interested and intrigued for the next season. I admit the twist at the end with player number 1 I did not see coming, and I really enjoyed. The only nitpick I have with the show is that I thought the undercover police officer storyline was not believable and pretty underwhelming. With how regimented these workers are, and with them being under pretty much constant surveillance, I didn't find it believable at all that the undercover police officer could get away with blending in. Also, by the time the front man takes off his mask, I was guessing he'd probably be his brother, and it didn't really mean much to me at all. Now, the big question. Was Squid Game worth the 3-year wait for me? Absolutely. Watching it now with all the hype settled, I feel like I could appreciate it even more. No spoilers, no expectations, and let me tell you, I do think it delivered. But now, let's get into some hard truths. Is this show great? Yes, I believe so. Is this show worthy of the hype that it got? Now that is an interesting question. I wouldn't put Squid Game in my top 10 shows of all time, and I wouldn't even put it in my top 5 Netflix TV shows of all time. I absolutely love that this show broke through into the mainstream, which is a feat that a lot of other shows that are in other languages have trouble doing. It very much deserves it. There are some amazing shows out there that many people will not give a shot because they're in another language. So if Squid Game gets more people interested in other shows like it, then it's a huge W. Just off the top of my head, when it comes to shows that are in other languages, I know 2 that in my opinion are better, and that's Dark and Alice in Borderland. Both also on Netflix. To me, both of those shows deserve the hype Squid Game gets, but for some reason, they both never got it. But if you want me to dive deeper into that, stick around for one of my next episodes. But now, I need to know, what was your first experience watching Squid Game? Did you binge it after the fact like me, or were you there when the world was losing its mind over it in real time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell because you're not going to want to miss my thoughts on how Season 2 of Squid Game stacks up against Season 1, because I definitely have some thoughts. All right, guys, until next time.